Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. Today we have with us Gail. Gail, introduce yourself.
Hey, homeschool mamas. Thanks, Jay, for having me. We're already having a blast here. Um, so, I'm a homeschool mom. I'm also an educator. I went to school to be a scientist. I own my own company. We got a lot to talk about today, but
Yes,
my heart is just for these homeschool mamas.
yes. And why? What brought you to homeschooling?
Yeah, so oh goodness. So I have two children, right? So two children, and our oldest daughter, who is now in college, living her best life. We put her in private school when she was little because we lived in Florida at the time and they have VPK, which is that voluntary pre-kindergarten. It was free. So we're like,
Mhm.
yes, we will, we'll do that. And then we ended up keeping her at that school when we moved to Virginia, we're like, oh, we can't afford this any longer. Like,
Mm.
private school was crazy. And so we sent her to public school, and that just really wasn't working for us. And it wasn't working for her. And so we ended up pulling her out and homeschooling her. So homeschooled Liz fourth through seventh grade. Seventh grade was kind of like it was a private school, but I taught there, so it's kind of like homeschooling because I was teaching my own kid, like all the courses. And then we have Owen. He's a little guy, not anymore. He's 14 now, but we homeschooled him uh, fifth grade when COVID hit through now. So now he's in
Oh,
ninth grade.
oh,
Yeah,
nice. And he's still going.
doing great. Like homeschooling, he's a neurodivergent. So our daughter's neurodivergent, goodness, on the gifted side. Owen is brilliantly smart, but he is neurodivergent because he has ADHD and attentive executive functioning dysgraphia, anxiety. So
Mm.
he was being left behind in school
Mm.
because he was quiet. He didn't bother nobody. He played with his pencil for 2 hours, but he wasn't bothering anybody, and we realized he was being left behind. And so homeschool was the best option for him.
Nice,
And it still
nice.
is.
And you say you spend time in the classroom.
I did spend time in the classroom. So I taught high school science for several years, and then some middle school science, which is a whole new beast, by the way. Like a whole new beast.
You went from
Um,
high school to middle school?
I
Oh
did.
yeah,
I
no, I
did.
don't recommend that for anyone.
No, no, I don't. I don't recommend that to anybody at all. Or high school was a dream. Middle school was tough work. There's a lot of hormones and a lot of bad smells. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. And you shared at the Homeschool Expo in Miami. And when I tell you a message, just I loved it. It
Thank
quick
you.
and easy and straight to the point, but just a reminder that parents like, hey, you got this. What leads your passion to want to talk to homeschool moms and dads? Like, hey,
Yeah, like, hey, you got this because, I feel like I'm in several like groups with like homeschooling parents, and I feel like moms are always reaching out for validation. Like, hey, I
mm.
made this chore chart. What do you think? And then people bash them. Like, it's horrible. Like, I would never put anything on any of those sites. Like, I go there and I like private message them. I think you're doing great. Like, I love your chore chart. How's that working for you? Because I don't want to be beat up for like, praising them and stuff. And I just feel like, even when we started homeschooling, I was an educator and I didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, I feel so comfortable in the classroom. And maybe it's because those kids weren't my kids, even though any teacher will tell you those kids become your kids,
Right,
and you love
quickly,
them and you're
yes.
invested in them. And some of my first students are graduating college this year, and they've been emailing me and saying, "Oh, Mrs. Lamarada, I hope you're coming," or would you,
Oh,
and we come to my graduation party, and it's so heartwarming to see. But then when you're teaching your own kids, you're like, oh, am I going to ruin them forever? Like, really? Like, am I going to ruin them forever? Are they never going to be able to go to college? Or,
mm.
I don't know what to teach them. Or we're both crying all day long. This is miserable. This is miserable, and it's not
Oh.
supposed to be miserable. So my heart is just out there to kind of, my friends laugh. They call me the super nanny of homeschooling. It's like, I'm like, bring me your problems. I can help you. Like, you know, tell me what is the hardest thing you're dealing with. And I've got some solutions for you to try. And I promise something's going to work. And I just have a heart for that. And I just love them. And I think, you know, once you've been heckled by high schoolers, teaching, you can kind of do anything, you know, like really when your daughter came up to me in the expo and she was like, you're on. And I was like, okay, let's go, you know, and it's because I'd spent so many years in front of high schoolers and middle schoolers. You really can, okay, let's go,
Right,
let's
because
do
those
it.
eyes be peering, boy. They like there's like a piercing stare, like oh, like because you know they're looking at you from head to toe, outfit, everything, the way you're saying certain words. High schoolers are very critical.
Yes, they are. But you know, but then when you get that little compliment, like, "Oh, Miss Summer, you looking good today," I'm like, "Yes," you know. Or they'd be like, "If you would have wore these earrings," I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that next time," you know. So it's like, wow, how did I dress myself before I met high schoolers? I don't know. Clearly not well.
Oh, your message just rang out so much to me because it was just so encouraging and understanding that you may not have it all figured out, but it's gonna be okay.
Yes, it's gonna be okay. And you know, I loved that the little kid like cheered me on when I was like, Minecraft is math, right? But it is. I mean, you wouldn't believe the skills. I know there's this big stigma against video games and against screen time. And look, I will support you in whatever you want. You want to give your kids screen time? Great. If you do want to give your kids screen time, great. Like I'm just I'm not judge and jury here, you know,
Yeah.
like that is fine. But you know, kids learn a lot from Minecraft, spatial awareness, you know, getting along with somebody else in their world because usually they're not playing by themselves, building things, seeing things in a 3D way. You know, when I took, I'm an environmental chemist, that's my actual degree, right? And I had to take this class GIS, which there's probably some scientists that listen to your podcast. I'm like, oh yeah, GIS. And so it's not a mapping thing, but that's kind of how you show, like you would build a map and it kind of can show like hot areas for soil erosion. Let's just say that.
Oh
But you
wow.
have to be able to think spatially. And never in my life, in any of my schooling, had I ever had a class that taught me how to think spatially. But Minecraft does. Minecraft teaches them how to think spatially. And you know, Jay, we're moving into this world where everything's 3D printing and like, you know, 3D modeling. Minecraft is opening that up to them. That's why my 14-year-old now is taking 3D animation and modeling classes for homeschool
Nice.
because it's easy for him because he's played Minecraft. So I
Oh
just try to
wow.
encourage parents, you know, because sometimes playground moms are meaner than the playground kids.
What I was going you words right out like not I wasn't gonna say that, but that's what I was thinking like because parents it's like you started with the the whole social media post like you put something up there and all these parents come at you oh my gosh you're using that why would your chart have that up there why like you know just so oh my goodness I feel like the adult peer is kind of worse than the teen or the younger peer in regards to a lot of things like you see people be going in on the parents and
In on
like their
them.
choices and it's just like yo what works for you is what works for you.
Right.
We should be
Exactly.
free to figure out the system that works for us. It shouldn't be
Yes.
like, oh, okay, well, I do this at my house, and then this is the way it should be. And you see parents talk about screen time, and I always see the little post because you know I'm like in 1,000 Facebook groups,
Right.
and so I see the post. Well, so how much time do you give your children? I guess like they need so much about. People are in search of so much validation, and it's so
Yes.
sad to see because we're all different.
We're all different. We're all different. And that's it. You hit that nail on the head, girl, because we are. And what works for your kid, it may not work for my kid. And you know,
Yes.
I've been trying to put on my social media, like and our Facebook page and stuff, you know, like reading is reading, right? And I put like some pictures of menus. And it's like all of us want our kids to love reading and to get lost in the story. That's not always gonna happen,
No.
you know. And so just write a recipe, write your kid a love note, write them, just a little something, or do a recipe and read that together. That is still reading. They're still getting the skill. And, I just want to tell parents that kind of stuff, that my kiddo who, has struggled with reading with his dysgraphia, the other day, I'm not even lying, 14 years, Jay, I've been trying to get this boy to love reading, right? And we picked up a manga, which I don't know, a lot of parents may know what that is, right? But apparently, okay, so it's not Japanese anime. I've been told that it's different, but that's what it looks like. So it's like a Japanese graphic novel. I'm sure I'll get a lot of responses to your podcast about how wrong I got
No,
this.
that's not it. Yeah.
Girl, right. Okay, so that's my best. But anyways, the boy picked it up in the car and started reading on his own. And my mom almost wrecked the car. I was so excited. I was like, what? You're reading? And it was just such a long struggle. And then, I thought about it, and I wanted to encourage mamas, he's 14 and a half and just now wanting to read. And when he was back when kids should be reading, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Owen wasn't. Little bits here and there, little words, little books. He loved to be read too. Yes. But he wasn't reading himself. And I really worried about that. And I stressed, and there was a lot of crying. And I keep bringing that up. And that's really because we did a lot of crying in homeschool, and because I didn't know any better, and I just felt, and I think moms do feel this pressure to make homeschool like school. That's what we know. That's what, even if you were homeschooled, you may have a better idea, but still a lot of homeschool moms that I talked to are like, yeah, we had school. My mom sat us down at the kitchen table. We did this, we did that. We did it in this order. We got little breaks. And I just want parents to know it doesn't have to be like that. Your kid can be laying on their belly upside down, reading a book on the couch. You can be wearing pajamas. They can wear that princess outfit. Reading and math, they're important, but they're gonna get it if you're investing the time in them. And that's really it, but go ahead.
No, I'm listening. No, you're right on. You're spot on. That reading is it's intimidating. So, and I experienced the tears, not so much myself, but when Morgan, my 8-year-old, or she's 7, let me not push her too far yet. She's 7. But when we first started out reading 4 or 5, oh my, when I tell you, just placing a book in front of her, she was just, oh, and I was like, close it. Nope. We're not gonna do that. That's what we're not gonna do today. But it was just understanding, okay, she's not ready. It's fine. I'm okay with that. And I had to accept it, just like you said, it's okay. And I'm still telling myself it's okay, because right? Because you do want your children to love reading, because you understand how much knowledge they can gain from a book in general. So you want them to get that little self pace where they're like, oh, let me pick up this book. Let me pick up this book. You want to, I was an avid, I'm still I told them I'm in the middle of 3 books right now. I'm an avid reader. I love reading. That's my downtime. That's my peace. That's my I can tune out everything going on around me. The little nuclear offset over here. And I'm, yeah, what? Next day. But we got to let them grow in their own pace. And that picking up that book with, girl, I've had that moment. I've had the little look in the review. What are they reading? Look, taking pictures on my phone. Oh my God.
Look, everybody, my kid can read.
This is all my stuff. I didn't have to tell you. It's a moment. Yes. It's a moment. It really is.
It really is a moment. Yeah, it really is. And, and I love that about homeschooling, the freedom that there really is. And I feel like a lot of parents don't have that freedom. They don't feel that freedom because they're so worried and they're so ill-equipped. So they feel, right? Yes.
But you spoke on it too, though, with the comparison to public school or having a school system set up at your home. I have to remind parents that I have to say it. If the school system was so grand, we wouldn't have taken them out. So why would we try to implement that system that we know wasn't working there at our house?
Amen, sister. Yeah, I agree with you. I really do. I agree with you. I say those words to parents, and I parents. I think this is in my my consulting, and when I meet with parents and stuff. I think the biggest question is, do we have to finish the book? No.
And that's the curriculum.
Yeah. Do we have to finish it before we can be done? No. I mean, you got to do more than 5 pages, right? Like, clearly. But I will get to evaluations. Like, I do, evaluations. It's not a big thing that I promote, but I do them. I'm a certified teacher, so it's easy to do. And I will and that's the first thing out of the parent's mouth. This is where we are in the book, and we plan to finish, but I know we're having this now. And I'm like, whoa, time out. Hi, how are you? How's homeschooling going? Like, it's okay. And then I don't know where we get that from, that like need to finish the book, because even in public school, we don't finish the book.
No,
I used to finish the book.
I used to be so upset they would tell me that we wouldn't finish novels. Like, how am I gonna read parts of a novel with a class? Like, that's a disservice to myself.
Yeah.
Let alone to all these kids. But yes, you're absolutely correct. Like, if it didn't fit in the time, then oh no, you don't have to read all of it. Read some of it.
Read some of it. That's it. You don't have to do all of the math problems on every single page, of this math curriculum. Did you learn the basics? Did you learn what you need, the foundations to go to the next one? And that's a lot of times I will get parents are like, we need a math tutor. Okay. And then I tutor their kids, and I'm like, no wonder you need a math tutor. You're making them do every little skill, and they're doing like 50 problems, and they are just done. Like, and I've come in sometimes and I've told parents, like, you're done. Summer starts today. Your kids are burnout. You're burnout. There's nothing wrong with that. You have done 75% of that grade. Cut it off. And then the first 3 weeks of school next year, you'll finish up that last 25% because you'll be fresh and you'll be ready to go, and you can move right in. And you wouldn't believe the amount of parents that go, thank you. Thank you. And I don't know really what gives me authority. I mean, I am a certified teacher, but really, I think they just want somebody to tell them.
To validate. It's still that validation that they're seeking.
Yeah. I think so. I'm nobody special. I'm not appointed by the state that says, if Gail says you can quit, you can quit. No. Right? But I do walk in and I'm like, you guys are good. Take a break, and it makes me sad sometimes, because I feel like when we're in that, and I'm guilty too, we're in that learning and we're just trying to learn and we're trying to make it happen, that we forget, I like you a lot. I like spending time with you. I don't like doing this with you. We need to take a break. Let's do something fun. Let's take a couple weeks off. Yeah. So
but I think your certification in teaching is what gives them that like necessary, like, oh, okay, well, she said it, then it's good, because they're still looking for that validation from a higher authority. It's wild to see a lot of people can't handle choices.
No, crazy, right? Like, it's really crazy. And I've seen it a lot in the school system with our advanced kids, right? So our kids who had helicopter parents, and they can't make a choice. They can't move forward. They're paralyzed because they're waiting for someone to make a choice for them, but it starts when they're on the playground. Do you want to go to the slide? Let's go here. And then mommy and daddy are like, don't fall. And then it builds from there to where parents are sitting next to their kids and doing their homework with them, which, hey, when they're little, kindergarten, first grade, second, third grade, we need to start pushing in some independence. You try it, and then I'll look at it. We'll go over it instead of that sitting with side. And then I would get kids, I taught AP environmental science in high school. And I know. I'm anti-AP. It's nothing but a money machine. It's harder than it needs to be. It doesn't, so I spent a lot of time teaching to the test. So my kids actually had a fighting chance. But I would have parents come in for parent night, the right at the end of the school year before they were going to be my student next year, that parent night thing. And I would tell them, like, your child will make a C or below for the first 9 weeks. And they're like,
Mm.
oh, my kid has never made a C. No, because you've always sat next to them and made sure they got every problem right. But your kid, this is a college level, it's a
Mhm.
junior college level class, like a junior in college level class for 9th graders. Your brain isn't even ready to think that way. I
At
remember
all.
taking this ecology class my junior year of college, which is practically this environmental science class. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. It was my degree. And so,
Mm.
and then that's it. I'd get those kids there and they're so used to everything coming so easy to them, not having to study, not having to analyze, not having to whatever. And they're making Fs. And I mean, it's always like the 4th weekend. And then my email on my phone was blowing up with parents that were irate because they didn't know how to make choices. But Jay, like you said, which is weird, is that I think I agree with you that a lot of adults have that same problem too.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
don't think they didn't have helicopter parents. They're the generation where parents are like, go outside and play. Be lost, come back at dinner, when the street lights come on, I was one of those kids, like, just go outside and play. You're not allowed in this house. Go,
Yeah.
right? And so I don't know where that lack of decisions is, except for, am I going to ruin my child? I don't know
Or
what I'm doing.
are they going to be, because you talk about them finishing curriculum and making sure their children are to a certain standard, it's still I feel like it's still a peer thing. It's still, well, I
Yeah.
got to make sure that, we're up with little Timmy down the street, because Timmy's mom said that he's reading on a 12th grade level and he's 7.
Right.
And like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time? Like,
Right.
it's still the pressure of the compare and contrast that is so dangerous to
I
parents.
Yes, I think so too. And then social media is the worst. Have you seen like those like almost home and gardens views of like
Oh,
their homeschooling room or their playroom? And I'm
carts
like,
and everything. They got homeschool carts. They have homeschool areas. They have all that homeschool everything. And it's just like, y'all, I carry our homeschool in the book bag. Okay. And we pull out
right?
stuff.
I'm like, dude, my kid is folding laundry while they're thinking about how to do that math problem.
Right. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a lot of pressure from outside. Definitely a
There
lot
is.
of pressure from outside. So
There
I'm
is.
glad that you have Edge Consulting.
Thank you.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, so Edge Consulting, it's kind of my little brainchild. So, I love teaching. I really do. Like, I have a love for it. It's weird. I didn't go to school for it, but just kind of, you have like natural abilities. And I just kind of started teaching in the classroom because I wanted to be there for Owen and, just kind of be available. And, we had really felt that Liz had done well in homeschool, but I was feeling incompetent. So we put him in school and then I was working, so I could be available. And I loved it. I didn't like
Mm,
the politics of it. I didn't like
mm.
all of the lesson planning of it, all of the mandatory meeting. I didn't like any of that. But I love teaching the
Girl.
kids. Right, girl?
That was
Like,
me.
it's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. You couldn't have 10 minutes to yourself. And I didn't really enjoy having 5 minutes to scarf a protein bar down because it's the only time I had to make coffee. It was my lunch break,
Yeah.
and so I love teaching in the classroom. I love connecting with the kids. And so post COVID, post all of that, I was like, you know what? I wonder if there's a need for what I do, which is teach upper level math and science. And then I had a friend who runs a co-op. She's in Claremont and she runs a co-op and she says, if you would tutor math, I can keep you busy full time.
Oh,
Like we have that
wow.
many people who need a tutor in math. And I was like, I remember plain as day, we were sitting at the beach, like just chatting. And I was like, I can teach math. Sure. And she was like, I love how confident you are. And then I went home that night. I'm like, can I teach
Can I teach
math?
math?
Let's see. And so then she started sending me people to teach math. And I was like, oh, I can teach math. Okay. And so then Edge Consulting just kind of formed. And so now we teach upper level math and science classes. So this in the fall, we're so excited. We're doing geometry, algebra 1, chemistry, biology, and environmental science.
All
Like,
those that hit it like it pains in my chest.
I know, right? It's like, and I love those courses, and I've taught those courses, and I'm okay, not geometry so much. Geometry and I have a love-hate relationship, but I can teach it. You know, we'll
That
get through it.
Pythagorean theorem.
Oh,
That's the
girl.
only thing I remember about it is the word. I don't remember. I can't give you nothing else.
Love that. I love that so much. So, and that's it. It's like, I just was like, wait, we feel so insecure as homeschooling moms that when we get to these upper level courses, now we're like, wait, my kid needs to take these to graduate high school. My kid needs to take these because they want to go to a trade school or they want to go to college. Whew. So I was like, I can help. I can step in, let you continue to do the stuff you love, and then I can teach these courses that you don't love, but I do. And it gives me an opportunity to be with students. I love it. We're so excited, to launch those classes in the fall. So we'll stay busy for sure.
So as consultant, y'all provide not only consultation, but you provide tutoring services or courses.
We do. Yeah, we do all of that. So we do homeschool consulting. And then, parents, they're just trying to figure out curriculum. They're just kind of need a schedule. That's kind of that super nanny of homeschooling, right? So I do that. And then we also do consulting for students who are in school, but have some neurodivergent learning. So whether they're super gifted or ADHD or executive functioning. So we'll meet with your kiddo once or twice a week, do some homework with them, build some skills, build some strategies, especially our executive functioning kiddos, right? So that backpack is a hot mess every day, all day. And so we work on that, and we work on getting them organized, because executive functioning kiddos won't do that on their own. Their brain doesn't work that way. And so being able to get them organized and so that they can be successful, that's what we do that. And we also partner with their educational team. So if they have a social worker in school, psychologist, special ed teacher, resource teacher, any of that, their core teachers, their principal, we go to those meetings virtually as well, and we'll advocate for them and for their neurodivergence, and just like, hey, they need this accommodation because you have an expectation of them that they physically cannot do. So we do that, which is great. We have our classes, which are awesome. And then I also do some private teach, which is so great too. So I do that for homeschoolers. So let's say you have a kiddo that's in 3rd grade, but lots of scenarios. Either they're super far, you feel they're super far behind, like we'll just say math, because that's mostly what I do, right? So then what I do is I come in and I can assess them, and we'll meet a couple hours a week, and then I can get them to what level you want them at. What is your goal here? Great story. I actually had a young lady who I started working with at the end of last year. We started in August, but we kind of did a couple meetups through the summer, just some field trips, just to get to know each other. And she just turned 14, and due to some family stuff, let's teach our children where they are, right? There's no shame in it. It is what it is. Let's just love them and teach them where they are. Well, she was on like a 4th grade math level. She will be in my Algebra 1 class in the fall. We have gotten her all the way from 4th grade math all the way to, it's been so great. It's been so great. She's neurodivergent. So we put together some graphic organizers that, can help her organize her mind when she's adding, subtracting fractions, when she's doing long division. And by just doing those things, she is grown, and she's going to be able to be in the Algebra 1 class with her peers, ready for 9th grade.
Oh, that is so amazing.
Really excited. I'm very proud of her. She put in the work. I put in the work, and that's why I tell my students, I will work as hard as you're working, if not harder. Let's go. You can do this.
Yeah. So that's one-on-one time.
One-on-one time. Yep. Yeah. So I spend 2 hours a week with her. Now 3, because we're just trying to finish up these last few skills. God bless you.
Thank you.
So we are just doing 3 hours a week now. For these last few weeks, and then by the time we get through June, she'll be ready to take July off and then start classes in August. So
that is amazing.
Yeah,
but that really also shows like just to the level of what one-on-one can do for a child in general.
Yes, for sure. And that's it. And it's just, and I have other kiddos who are doing the same kind of thing, who are, struggling with reading, or they're struggling with writing or whatever. And we just get in, and it's really not a struggle. It's just that they just aren't being taught the way they learn. And that was one of the things we really talk about. So at Edge Consulting, we kind of have, kind of philosophy called whole child learning. And it takes into account nutrition, learning styles, and physical activity. And so, teachers alike and parents teach how they learn. But if your kid doesn't learn the same that you do, you have a different learning style, it's not going to work. Like, it just doesn't work. And you have to be willing to switch it up. Well, Edge Consulting can give you those tools and those tips and those ideas of how to switch it up, because you're like, look, I'm just trying to do this curriculum. I didn't go to teacher school. I don't know how to do this. And then we come in and we go, okay, here's some ideas. Here's some solutions. So some parents will meet with me for, once, like every few weeks, just to check in, say, oh, we're trying to do this, we can't do it. Some meet once a month, like, okay, I need you once a month and we're going to go over, some meet just before school, kind of like this time now, and we'll go through a whole curriculum idea and put together a plan and kind of do that. So there's a lot of different options for sure.
Nice. Yes. And parents need to know that they have those options, because you talk to, parent, I always joke, like, you talk to parents about homeschooling and their child's like 3 or 4, and they talking about calculus.
Yeah.
I can't teach calculus. I can't teach all this. I can't. No. But
great
you know
news, your 3-year-old cannot do calculus.
But they jumped so far ahead. They're already to college. They're already preparing them to enter into the workforce. They're already, they're just so far ahead. But it's just like, you don't have to know everything, love. I promise you don't have to know everything, because we have wonderful resources like Gail is providing that will, assist where you need, support where you need. It will provide the resource that is needed for that time. I tell people all the time, I know my team, she's gonna need a tutor for math. I don't do math. Okay. If I can't do a calculator, I will not do it. I don't even like when people ask me things like that involve numbers and they want me to I literally like, oh, I'm not thinking about that. Like, just know. You was talking to me. I'm not thinking about
me?
Yeah, no. Use the calculator. Don't do that. Don't ask me. But knowing my limits, basically. And understanding that, of course, I want her to excel way past where my math abilities are. I know that I'm going to have to outsource, and I'm okay with that. And it's okay to do that.
Yes, it is okay to do that, because I won't lie, we were not homeschooling Liz at the time, but she was little. I outsourced her to do arts and crafts. I despise arts and crafts. Like, it's a mess.
Rockets at the, what you call it? Y'all
that's an arts and crafts. There was no glitter. There was no gobs of glue. There were no little pieces of paper everywhere. No, girl, no. We did do straw rockets. That's science. That I can get behind. But this, like, making something on a paper bag, what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that paper bag that you just put all those tools on? I just never saw the point in it. I didn't like it, but I had friends who loved crafting. I'd be like, okay, you're going to Auntie's house and she's going to do crafts with you all day. Mommy's going to Starbucks. So, outsourcing is okay. Outsourcing is okay.
Yes. That's the first time for me, Gail. I ain't heard like, you want to color? No, go look.
That's right. You go over
not
there.
Here. Don't do that here.
I can't do it. I can't. It's so messy. And I just don't see the point. And, it's funny because our daughter actually is very much like me. We would be in school. We tried My Father's World, which is a beautiful curriculum if you are in a Christian curriculum. And it does a lot of hands-on, and you do this little passport and you pretend that you're going to different countries. And Liz would come in like, do we really have to do that? We're not leaving the kitchen. Right? Like, seed necklace. Why do we need to make a seed necklace?
That's that science life, because that A plus B equals C. Like, the interworkings of things. So it's like, oh, Yeah, no, I need more concrete. Like I need it to be just tell me what you want. What result do you need me to produce so I can go ahead and get it to you right quick? Yes, I totally
Yes, that's how she
understand.
was. She's like, is this going to be on the test? And like, you're homeschooled. There is no test. It's just like, why am I learning? Right? And then our Owen was like, seed necklace? Can we make one with all of the
Oh,
different seeds? And it's like, oh, mommy, where are we going today with the passport? And it was just so funny, like how
oh.
different, they are. So yes, girl, those crafts were going to somebody else.
Nice. Yes. No, know your limits. Know your
That's
limits.
like
Know
know
your
your limits,
limits.
and be
Yes.
okay with that. It doesn't make you less qualified or less able to homeschool your children. It takes a village. That has been a
Yes.
saying for many, many years. And I think we kind of got away from that village growing, especially when we were like sending our kids to school or, like, oh, you can't tell my kid what to do. Girl,
Mm-hmm.
I know that when I played in the neighborhood, if I was playing in that ditch I wasn't supposed to be playing in, the lady down the street was telling my mama,
Somebody
and
was
she
telling,
hadn't
yes.
already picked me up by my shirt and got me out of there because she knew I wasn't supposed to be in it.
Yes.
Parents nowadays are like, don't you tell my child what to do, don't you? And look, no one's allowed should ever be able to discipline somebody else's child. I don't believe in that at all. But like, hey, I know your mom doesn't want you to do that. Well, let
Exactly.
me help you out. Let's get you out of
And
there,
understand that you could be saving, so like somebody can be saving your child. I don't like that disconnect either. Like we have like kind of spaced out, like, oh, don't talk to my child, don't do this, like don't like.
Yeah.
And there are some people that is like, oh yeah, no, I don't want you talking to my child.
Right,
But for
right.
the most part, the love is there. Like when it's coming
Yeah.
from a place of love and concern, like it's okay. It's okay. Cause like you said, it will always take a village. I don't care what narrative
Yeah.
they try to sell you through the media or and everything else. It will always take a village. You
It
will
will
always
always
need
take
a
a village.
community to help you raise a
Yeah.
whole child.
To raise a whole child. And that's it. And the gifts that you have could really benefit my kids, And then,
Yes.
Liz used to take bento boxes before bento boxes were even a thing to school because I followed this 100 days of real food when she was little. It's like, I don't know if you've heard of it or not, but and she did all these little, these little cupcake liners with all the cute little things. And mind you, Liz is 21, or going on 21. So this is a hot minute ago, when it was kind of new and kind of not a thing. And Liz would take it and she'd come home. She's like, can you send me extra red peppers? Because this girl had never had red peppers and she likes them. And so she said her mom probably
Oh,
would never buy her red peppers. So can you send me red peppers?
yeah.
Red peppers, but it was just something new, something different. And so if you have something great to give my kid, let's
Please,
go,
yes, give
please,
it. Yes, the girls, I feel like community looks out for my girls all the time. They're gifted so
Yes,
many things. They're treated so well. And I'm so
yes,
appreciative all the time for all the
yes.
love. Like it's funny because we live in Arizona and when we first moved there, we were still, trying to figure it out because it's a lot, it's heavily Spanish populated. Like
Okay.
so like a lot of times we don't know what people are saying, but they're so welcoming. Like they're still like so we have a park that we go to all the time. And like the moment my girls see like a birthday banner or balloons or anything, they're like, oh, somebody's having a party. Like you seen my girls.
I
Girl,
know.
they're going right over to that
Doing,
party. They're
yes, they
going,
are.
they're going right over to
Yes,
the party.
they are.
Hey,
You
can we
having a
be
party?
here? Like, yes, girl. And when I tell you they've gone to so many birthday parties, it makes no sense. But I just
I
love
love it.
that it's that they bring them in. Like people bring them in,
Yes.
then they all would come ask me, "Oh, can they have this? Can they have?" Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead. Look, go ahead.
girl.
I'm sitting on this
Yes.
bench playing my chess game. Like, I don't care.
Right. Oh, you're gonna watch my children and feed them for
What?
free?
I tell you,
Yes.
I'm the most neglectful present parent that there is. Like, I'm so like, oh, okay. Oh, are you doing that? Oh, okay. Like,
Okay, okay, you're good. You're good. Yes. But I have a mantra, and that is if we treat children like people worth knowing, they will become people worth knowing.
I like
And
that.
yeah, and it's so true because especially with our little kids, people think, what do you have to offer? You know,
Yes.
what could you possibly have to say to me? But when you actually talk to them and get to know them and ask them about their dreams, or about, hey, why'd you do this way, or why'd you do that? You know, it's just like, wow, you're a really cool human.
They're
And I
little
do want to get to
geniuses.
know you.
They are. They're all little geniuses. They have their
Yeah.
own big personality, their own
Yeah.
insight, their own intelligence. Like we just
Yeah.
need to let them be.
We need to let them be. And then when they become teenagers and surly, we really need to treat them like people who want to know. Instead of,
Yes,
you
and
know, we get
hear
into this,
them.
you didn't do this, you didn't do that. And it becomes very negative, and you don't realize as a parent you're doing it. This kind of, there's, and I've been through two now, right? Teenagers, and there's, you kind of morph into this hugging your kid every day and loving them,
Mm.
to where we realized, I was like, one day, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've hugged Liz in like a week, because
Ah,
she had become a teenager. She was always gone. She, you know, whatevs. And it was just like, we have to be better. We have to be better about that, because they get older and they get a little more independent, and you think, oh, they probably don't want to be lovey with me. But
mhm.
just, you know, connecting with them in any way, whether it's a show you like, or it's a book you read, or a recipe, or a restaurant, or, you know,
Yes.
Liz and I like to walk. So we walk together and talk, and just finding those ways, because it's so easy to go, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do
Mhm.
this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And we don't mean it. It's not that we don't like them anymore. It's just that we know it's so soon before they leave us, and we're trying to get them where we want them to
To
be:
that level of
responsible,
independence.
bathing,
Yeah.
kind, you know, responsible with money. That's what we're focused on. And we forget, I like you. I like you a
Mm.
lot, and I'm going to miss you while you're gone, and I want to connect with you. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if we treat kids, really teenagers, right, as people who we want to know, they will become people who we want to know. And so letting other people talk to your kids teaches them that skill, teaches them to have something to talk about, because people are going to be like, oh, and walk away from them and like, why didn't they want to talk to me? You know, why didn't they want to hear why I love, you know, this bubble pop game, and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Oh, I need to have things to talk about. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And to see and hear them is a lot. It means a lot to them.
yes.
To be validated in some sense of like, oh, my opinion matters. Oh, my thoughts matter. My interests matter.
Yes. Yes. And think of how far that will take them when they become adults and they become homeschooling moms, right? Or dads, or they go into the workforce, or, you know, just how different they will be, because somebody listened and validated them at a young age.
Mm.
And I really do wonder if that's why we search for it so much now, because we weren't listened to and validated as children.
Okay,
I
Gail.
know,
Well,
right?
bringing it back, bringing it back. Yes, yeah. You do wonder.
Yeah.
'Cause I mean, we all have our things that we're healing from as far as childhood go,
Yes.
and, trying to grow from, because a lot of
Yeah.
experiences that are very impactful, and we didn't
Yeah.
necessarily have anyone to talk us through those times either. And that's what I see with a lot of kids now. I speak on our generation being misguided, and then their generation underneath us being unguided because everyone's so busy and caught up in their own world. So it's
Yeah.
just like they need that guidance. Like, remember that they still need you. Like
Yeah. They still
they
need.
get to look, be in the same height as you, or sometimes towering over you, and you're looking at them
Yes.
as totally different beings. But like you said, remember that you like them.
I like, yeah,
You
remember
pushed
that
them
you
out
like
your
them.
womb or out your whatever. Like,
Yeah. Right? Yeah, whether they're adopted or they're, you know, your own or whatever. Yeah,
yes,
you do,
but
you like them, and sometimes you have to remind yourself that minute by minute, I like you. I
yes,
like you. I like you, you know. I like you. I like you, you know,
whole
but
coaching moment. Like, oh my
yeah,
gosh, yeah, I
for
you
sure.
are. I do. You better be glad I like you.
Yeah, right, right. You're like, oh, oh man, that's me. I made that face to my, you know,
Right.
and that's like the hardest part is when you see your sass and your mini me, you're like, oh man,
Oh my.
I
Or you
had to
have your
stop.
family or friends that telling you like, girl, that's you, and you're like, what?
What? No. Yeah. Right, right. Yeah. And then you're in your bathroom hiding because you just can't take it anymore.
Like that. I was like that, thinking like maybe I need to go apologize to some people from my
Right.
past.
Right. I had, yes, when my mama was still alive, I called her. I'm like, I'm so sorry.
Right.
That eye roll. Oh, I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But like these little people matter. And
They
I'm glad
matter.
that you're coaching and
Yes.
providing parents with the support they need to figure this out. Because we talk about parenting as a whole, and there's no guidebook to it, really. I
Oh
mean,
no.
there's plenty of now on the internet. However, there's no actual real manual that comes that says,
Right.
oh, okay, to function this child in the best way to success, you need to do this, 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 and this.
Right.
There's no guide.
No guide.
So we're all trying to figure it out. And I don't
Yeah.
like that the parents, that we parent shame or we like cast our beliefs or our thoughts, our opinions and all that
Yes.
good. Like, stop it, guys. Come on.
Stop
Let
it.
people be. Let people
Yes.
be, encourage, motivate, inspire, but let people
Yes.
be.
That's it. That's it. And, I encourage everyone, today to, if you're out and about, find someone and give them a compliment. I love doing
Yes.
that. I don't know about you, but like I'll see a lady and she'll have like the prettiest shirt, or I'll love her earrings, or you can just tell like she really put herself together to tell her like, oh, I love your shirt, or I love your dress, and just to see them light up. Like, oh, thank you. Sometimes they look like, oh, what am I wearing?
I know, right? It's like, what the hell?
Thank you.
I've had that moment like, oh, like
some lady the other day, like I didn't know her at all. She was like, I love your skirt. And the first thing out of my mouth, she was, it has pockets.
I love skirts and pockets. I do too.
Right? Like
I
it's
love
such a big
what they are.
right. Instead of thank you or whatever. I was like so excited, like a little girl. Like it's got
like I was waiting on someone to ask me about this. I was just saying something like, oh, you noticed? Oh,
you noticed? Thank you.
Let me tell you about the amenities. Like that pockets. Like
yes, that is it. And she laughed and she was like, dresses with pockets are the best, and it's just, I just think if we get back into that habit of complimenting each other instead of tearing each other down, I think that is the way to go. And yes, let's be mindful of what we put in our kids' bodies. Of course, that is, nutrition is a big deal, like, girl, there's no condemnation in that. You're going to give your kid regular goldfish, then girl, enjoy those regular goldfish, because they're like $1.90 less than those Annies. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, hey, that mama may have just been proud that she could afford goldfish for her kiddo. And then you just knocked her down, lift her up, like saying something like, I love goldfish. They're the best snack ever, or I don't know, don't say anything at all. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all.
What? Bring it back.
Right? I don't know when we forgot that rule.
I know. That's a great question. That's a great question. But that does say a lot. It's that simple. It's that simple. Or just treating people like you want to be treated. Right. That's always been a fave for me too.
Yes.
But I feel like the same things we tell kids and the same things we're telling teenagers, it's the same thing that adults have to hear also, because it's like at some point in time, like those lessons that they've been given to their kids or their the young ones, they forget them themselves. Yeah,
like they don't apply to them anymore, that you can be mean and nasty, and just because you think it doesn't mean you need to say it.
I know. And it's a new thing too, like, well, I'm just living in my truth, or I'm just telling my truth or something like that. It's like, yeah, but your truth doesn't have to hurt people.
That's right. You can live in your truth silently and just do you, boo. like
do
really.
You, boo, boo. Yes.
And that's it. And by all means, let's love you in whatever it is that is your truth, and and love me in whatever's in my truth, and we'll go from there. We can learn and grow together. Now, if someone wants to say, hey, I know you're giving your kid those goldfish. Have you tried, or have you thought about, or have you heard of? That's different. That's just sharing. But I can't believe that's, so it's that kind of thing. We need to stop condemning each other. We're already all insecure as it is. We don't need any help. We don't need any help.
Speak it again. Self-conscious, like, I don't know what. It definitely, it rains loudly. It definitely. And that's where a lot of those mean comments come from in general. It's because someone's done the same thing to them. So it's like, let me go do this. But
hurt hurts hurt.
Hurt people, Gail.
That's it.
That's what people gotta understand. That's why I stress healing. What's your self-care look like?
My self-care, working out. I really enjoy working out, and I enjoy eating healthy. Like I'm just really kind of an advocate for that. I just was talking to my friend. She's a transformational health coach. That's what she does. And she told me 30 plants a week, 30 different plants a week for biome diversity in your gut. So I started
30
listing
different plants,
30 different plants, right? So started listing out like, what do I eat? I got to
right?
15 and then I realized I eat these same 15 all the time.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that is really kind of my self-care. I love reading cookbooks. I just finished Super Gut, which is a great book, you know. But yes, yeah, so think about that, right? 30 different plants a week.
That's wild. I
Yeah,
know I'm not doing that. Look, I know I'm
I
not
know,
doing
right?
that. Yes.
You're like,
I'd
do
be
gummies
lucky if I
count?
had half. I know.
I know, right? 30 is a lot. 30 is a
30
lot.
is a lot.
Yeah. So a lot of that, pray,
Oh no,
you
don't
know,
you do it
meditate,
again.
do stuff like that. Definitely just try to clear my mind. That's definitely my self-care. Yeah.
Nice. Yes,
Did I
yes.
lose you?
Because that's
Oh,
important in this homeschool
it is.
atmosphere. Like that's the main thing.
Yes.
Because we want to be whole for our kids as well. While
Yes.
we're growing whole children, we want ourselves to come to them in a whole manner. So
Yes. Agreed. Agreed. We definitely have to find ways to manage our stress. You know, whether it's a walk on the beach or it's a coloring book or it's, you know, 10 minutes in a tub, whatever, but we definitely have to find a way to manage our stress because homeschooling is stressful. There's no
yeah,
two ways about it. There are going to be some rough days. There's some fun days for sure, and you can find fun in every day, but
yeah,
it's a stressful season of life. And so we
yes.
definitely have to find ways to manage that for sure.
Right. Because the outside world is still there. Like as much as we want to escape it, it's still there. It's
It's
still
still
those bills
there.
are still there. All that stuff is still there while we're trying to manage
Yes.
having our children 24/7. It's
Yes.
wild. Were you ever in a co-op or are you in a co-op?
I'm not in a co-op. I haven't ever done the co-op thing. Whenever I was homeschooling, we were like a one-car family, so it just wasn't really an option. Then I do help out with my friend's co-op, Axis, which is in Claremont. It's so much fun. You know, I'm doing their evals on Thursday, you know, which is great. I
Nice.
love meeting those kids and stuff. I'm pro co-op. I'm
Okay.
pro co-op for sure. You know, and I think anytime you have a chance to let your kids learn from someone else, whether it's survival skills or, you know, creative writing, I think is one of the courses that some of my private teachers take at co-op. And, you know, they're like, oh, and I love because we did this and we did that. It just gives your kids a respect for other people and for their
Yes.
thoughts and for their point of view and there. So I am very pro co-ops for sure.
Nice, nice. Beautiful, beautiful. Where can we find Edge Consulting?
So you can find us on the internet, right? So clearly, duh. So our website is breakingtheedges.com. I don't even say my own website, right? So breaktheedges.com. You can find us on LinkedIn, on which is just my name, Gail Amarada. You can find us on Facebook. Again, Edge Consulting. So yeah, and we want to offer your kiddos, your listeners, $50 off any class that they want to take. They can just type in YOKIDS50 on our
Nice.
website if they want to take a course, and then they can save $50 because, you know, to give your guys a
Awesome.
little treat for being a part of your podcast
Thank you.
audience. So
I appreciate
you're
that. And we'll
welcome.
definitely have the links available in the description. Before
Perfect.
I let you
Yes,
go,
ma'am.
3 things that you would tell these lovely homeschool parents that are starting off, that are still trying to find their little, what works for them. What's three
Yeah.
things you'll tell them?
Sure. 3 things. One, you can do this. You can do this. It will be great. You're not going to ruin your kiddo. You can do this. Number 2 is be willing to reach out. Be willing to find, like we talked about today, you know, find the niches that you don't like. For me, was crafting, right? So find that niche, find people, build your village. And number 3 is remember that you like them. Remember that you like them. And you
That's a
do,
big one.
you know, and so just remember that you like them and that you're just, you know, your biggest goal is to create a great human. The education comes second, but that being a great
Yes.
human is a big deal. So you got this, reach out, and then remember that you like them.
Nice. Yes, yes. I know kind humans go a long way,
A
man. They
long
really,
way.
really do.
They
And I
do.
appreciate you and everything that you're doing. Thank you for
Thanks.
providing the support that parents need. And parents, always as a reminder, it's not a journey you have to take alone. We know homeschooling is intimidating for a lot. That's only because you're thinking of it on an individual level. If you
Right.
understand that that community can be built, your support can be found, anything that you need can be researched, then you'll see it in a whole different light. So understand that Gail, okay, Edge Consulting is there for you to tap into and find what works for you. Figure out the, y'all plan, you and your family's plan, because it doesn't have to
Yes.
match anyone else's. So no more
Amen.
comparing and contrasting. I know, I can say it as many times as I want to, and y'all still gonna be like, but I mean, have you looked at this IG page? Like everything that she has is so beautiful. It's the lighting. Okay. It's the
Yep.
lighting. Okay.
Right? It's the lighting, and the maid probably came yesterday. So
Right. Yes, but no, I understand it doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to work for you and your family.
amen.
So figure it out, work it out for you, but always remember that it's not something you have to do alone. And in the meantime, in between time, homeschool your kid.
Got it, girl. That's it.